Hello, welcome to the Cherry Heart podcast. I'm Sandra and this is episode 4 of my crafty podcast, which features crochet and knitting mainly, some sewing and a few other making bits and bobs. You can find all the show notes for this podcast on my blog, which is cherryheart.co.uk, or if you're watching online on YouTube, I'll put a link to the show notes in the down bar below. That's where you can find the links to the projects I talk about, the patterns, and some more pictures and so on. Everything useful information wise will be in those show notes. You can find me around the web as Cherry Heart, and I'm on Instagram as Sandra Cherry HRT, because they wouldn't let me have Sandra Cherry Heart. Apparently that was too long a username. How have you been? How have you been keeping? Things have been okay here. Full, it feels like, lots of things going on, but just dull life things, illnesses and sorting out stuff, which seems to make time go very quickly. But we have some sun today, which is nice, and I actually got out and mowed the lawn already, so I feel like I'm winning at life, because I literally put the lawnmower away, came in, got a glass of water, and as I turned to look out the kitchen window, it started raining. So I was like, woohoo, I got in there before it rained. But it's already gone now and the sun is out again, so it feels a little bit like it might actually be spring, which is quite nice. Let us start, as I normally do, with things that I have done. And what I have done, my finished object, ta-da, is this white mystery blanket that I've had on the go and I've been talking about, it feels like, incessantly for the last 6 months. I don't know if it's been 6 months, but it feels like a long time. Yes, my Bright Star blanket is what I'm calling it, and it's finally done. I'll probably try and pop some pictures in quickly, actually, because it's very hard to show it to you on the screen here, because I've been calling it the Big Beast, and it is quite it's a big old thing to show. So yeah, I'll pop some pictures in and hopefully, haven't taken them yet, but hopefully I'll take them and you can see what's going on. I hope that's given you a bit of an overview. I hope I've got some decent pictures to show you as well. Let's just give you a little bit more of a close-up now it's all done. I actually have just finished blocking it. Just this edging will want to curl up a little bit. Oh no, I've just picked up a white blanket, so I'll do the time for you to intervene. Yeah, so I've literally just finished blocking it yesterday. It was quite difficult to block because obviously space requirements. But I'm very happy with it. Just want to show you a little bit more of the blanket. Oh my goodness, talking is going to be an issue again this episode. In fact, when isn't talking an issue? As my daughter says, her friends say at school, I'm having trouble wording today. I just wanted to try to show you a little bit of the sort of how the border works against the blanket. There we go. That gives you the sort of idea, doesn't it? So yes, just a very brief recap because I've talked about it before. This blanket has been inspired by a small picture that I saw in a magazine of a vintage bedspread, and it was being displayed in a summer house in Sweden. So I managed to track down the person who had the blanket through a bit of internet investigation, and just spoke to her over Instagram and just sort of asked her about it and asked her if she knew anything about where it had come from or the pattern or anything. But she didn't. She just found it in a sort of flea market or sort of antique market stall place. So I did spend quite a bit of time before I started just trying to track down, just to sort of make sure there wasn't any kind of existing pattern for it that I should be worried about. And I haven't found anything for this precise blanket, and I have changed it slightly because of the way the border was put on in the original is sort of very different to how I would do it now, and also the construction is very different. So what I have found on the internet is this design, this sort of diamond sort of starry shape design is very popular, and that comes up in lots of different patterns in lots of different sizes, so that seems to be quite a sort of standard pattern. And then this sort of, these kind of arches, I think of them, this kind of, this little stitch, which is basically a stitch pattern, isn't it? That features quite heavily. And sort of combining it with various different filleted, sort of filet crochet this is based on. It's not exactly filet crochet, but it's very much based on that kind of idea. So again, they're all very, very sort of popular, and they're often used in various different formats. Now I haven't found anything, like I say, in exactly this format. I have found some panels. Someone sent me a link actually. It was on Pinterest. I'll see if I can find it to pop in show notes. Yeah, for sort of similar panels like this, because the original blanket was constructed in panels and these would have been sewn together afterwards or crocheted together afterwards. I haven't done the pattern that way because I felt it would be too laborious. Yeah, so there are sort of variations on this sort of theme. So it's obviously referencing some very sort of traditional motifs that are often used, and what's the word? You know, obviously incorporated into a lot of blankets that were being made traditionally, which is quite nice. So, but what I've created is a sort of a PDF, obviously, for this entire blanket pattern, and like I say, I've modified the way this border is done to make it sort of a little bit more comprehensible to how we would work now, I suppose. Like I say, with each element originally was constructed separately, and then the blanket was assembled out of all of these different sort of strips, and the border would have been made of a strip. So I've put it into more of a conventional pattern format, and the pattern is almost ready to go. I was hoping to have it ready so I could talk about it on this podcast, but previous life things, as discussed, sort of came up, so I'm hoping next week now. I'm almost loath to say a date because, you know, you try and commit to something and then things happen, don't they? But yeah, next week I'll do a post on the blog, and you know, I'll put it on Instagram when it does come out. So just if it's something you've been waiting for, because I know some people are waiting for it, then yeah, just keep an eye out there, and you know, you will know when it comes out. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm really pleased with it. It was a complete and utter nightmare to sort of work out the numbers of it. As I said, I won't go into it because I talked about it before. But I have got something I'm really happy with. This size, the numbers work out the very best for this size. But because the maths of it is actually, it's not simple and it doesn't work out easily, I've actually put a couple of suggestions for if you want to alter the size. So the pattern is written for this size, which I would say is a good double bed size. I've actually got it on my, I think we've got a king size. I don't know how that works out with American sizes because I think your sizes might be a bit bigger. But ours is a king size double, and it fits nicely on that to my mind. But I don't have it up over the pillows as well. Yeah, so that's the size that the pattern is written for. But just to help you, if you wanted a different size, I have put some suggestions in for how you could alter it, sort of, you know, stitch repeat numbers and things that you could use, and sort of border repeats, you know, the next closest ones that fit for if you did want to change the size. So I've included like 3 other, one bigger and then 2 smaller, a kind of lap blankety size, and I guess a baby blanket kind of size I've tried to include. So that's just to sort of give some extra guidance if you did want to change it up. And then the other thing I've done with the pattern, so the basic blanket itself, I mean, it only uses very simple stitches, and the blanket itself is quite, I wouldn't necessarily say it was beginner, but it's not a difficult pattern. It's certainly, once you know the ropes and you're happy you've got the hang of crochet and working back and forth and things and got the hang of the stitches and everything, you'd be fine with that. But it's just this border that's tricky. And again, the pattern itself, the stitches are easy peasy. The pattern is slightly harder to remember than the blanket because there's a longer repeat to it, and you're sort of changing between this sort of filet design and this sort of arches design here that's slightly different. So yeah, you kind of have to remember where you are in the pattern, and also these sort of this in and outness. So you've got to remember, you've got to sort of be able to do increase and decrease down, because to get the right shape. So that's a little bit more tricky. That's a definite intermediate, but because of the way the border is applied on and getting the numbers to work, that's actually, I'm putting it down as advanced. So I'm putting the pattern down as intermediate to advanced level. I think if it was just the written instructions, I would definitely classify it as just an advanced pattern because of this. But because I always want to make my patterns understandable and easy to understand, so you're not sitting there scratching your head for ages trying to work it out, is the idea. So I have put lots of help in. I've put lots of help about how to get this to work out correctly and so on, and guidance so that you can get the border to go on as much as possibly can. And I've also put some like photos in about how to physically do it and so on. I guess like a photo tutorial. And that's mostly about the border, just how to get the border onto the blanket. So I'm quite confident that actually intermediate crocheters will be able to do this. It's hard to say because everyone's different. Some people would classify themselves as intermediate but like to sort of stick to things they know, which, I can totally relate to. And then other times you just think, yeah, all right, I've only done a few intermediate things so far, but I'm sure I could manage, something a little bit more challenging, and, you're absolutely up for the task. So I guess it depends how you classify yourself to whether you think you'd be ready to give this a go. But like I say, I've put as much help in as I can, so I think it should be pretty accessible for that intermediate range. And to be fair, when I tested it both with the charts and with the written pattern with no photos at all, the testers actually got on really well with it, and most of the questions were like, I think I should be doing this, is that right? And they just, I think they did know, but they just wanted just that reassurance, whereas I think just the photos to make it clear will sort of tip everyone out, hopefully tip everyone into the edge where, yeah, that is it, yeah, I do know what I've got to do, and that's fine. But they actually coped with it really well, including a lady that said, she said, I think of myself as a beginner really, but I'm up to give it a try. And she did it brilliantly. I was so impressed. So yeah, I'm hoping I've brought it into that nice middle range to make it sort of, not too daunting, put it that way. That was my aim anyway. But yes, I'm really happy with this. I'm not quite sure when it's going to live, where it's going to live. It took me quite a little while to sort of figure out and finish and get it all blocked, so I'm a little bit precious about it at the moment. And of course it's all beautifully clean and cream and clean at the moment, so I don't really want to just put it in the living room where people will pick it up and touch it and use it. I know that's the point, but I'm just not quite ready for that. So I might put it up in my bedroom, but I've got my Battenberg blanket up there now, so I don't know. This could be like a more summery one to go on there in rotation. I think it's going to look lovely in sort of like outside in summer. I don't know if I can quite bring myself to just lay it on the lawn or anything, but sort of over the summer, my bench when I come and sit out at summer, it's going to look lovely, isn't it? I need a summer house, that's what I need. I need a summer house to display it off beautifully, like the lovely lady who had the pictures of it. Yeah, I have to work on that. We need a summer house. Just for my blanket. The blanket came first, the summer house came second. Right, let's go and pop this back up. Oh, in case you're wondering, that shawl I won't talk about because it's from a while ago, but I always put in my show notes like what's behind me, and I put a link to whatever the project is that's behind me. So if you did want to know about that, it's my Quite Concherry shawl, and there's a link in show notes if you are interested. So that's everything I've done, I've completed. So let's move on to what I'm doing now. And I don't think there's anything new here either. But let's show you what we've got. I'll start with my socks. So I talked about these last time. But they've undergone a bit of a change since then. I'm going to put them on a sock blocker. As much so I can see how they look as anything. Yes, so last time we spoke, let's just hold one up so you can see. That doesn't look very attractive, does it, at the moment? Last time we spoke, I had one, and it was about, I don't know where it was actually. Did I get to here with it maybe? And I was a bit, I think I had different colours on. I think a lot's changed since then. I can't even remember. Anyway, I had some minis. It's not too bad. I had some minis left over from Hersblatt Regina when she was dyeing yarn. She's not anymore. And her yarn I like, but it is just a little bit thicker than I would say standard 4-ply is. So I wanted to use all of her minis like in one sock and not mix them with a different yarn, which would be a slightly different size. Having said that, this is different. There we go. Right, so this is what I've got. Like I say, last time I think I was here, but I had different colours in. This bit is the same. I've kept these 3 colours the same. And then after that I had struggled. So I'd laid out my minis and come up with a combination. I was happy with it and just took a little picture on my phone so I knew which order to do them in. But when I actually made them up in yarn, I wasn't happy with it. So I decided to go back. So I think, I can't remember if I kept this or not. I did have a purple in here, which I took out and replaced, but I think that was before the podcast. So I think by the podcast, this colour was in. And then I think whatever I had in after that, maybe I changed. I don't know. You probably remember, don't you? You'd be like, I know what you did. Anyway, yes, I wasn't quite sure with them, but I frogged back. I made another one to see how much yarn it would take out of each mini because I've only got 10 grams for these, and I normally have 20 when I've made my scrappy socks before, so I wasn't sure. So I wanted to see how much I would have left after I made 2 stripes, one on each sock, to see if I could reuse the colours again. So it turned out I had enough for 1 more stripe, but not 2. So I could have done them differently, each sock differently, and sort of, you know, had a random colour pattern, but I just went through and sort of rearranged them again and came up with a different pattern, different way of using the colours that I was happy with at the time. Again, I'm not 100% sold on this new scheme either, but I also think I've got this stripe to finish, this brighter pink stripe to finish. I've got another stripe colour and a toe colour to go, but looking at it, by the time this stripe's done, I think I'm going to be onto the toe, aren't I? I've also changed the heel. Actually, no, I do remember now because I had done a heel and gusset. Is that right? Heel flap and gusset heel turn, and I've changed it to a fish lips kiss now for reasons known only to myself. I think because I wanted to sort of get the heel all out of one stripe, whereas when I did the gusset was working through into the next stripe. And I was thinking if I wanted to get 3 stripes out of one colour, it wouldn't work if I used extra yarn sort of in the gusset on another stripe. That was why. I knew I had some thoughts about it. Yeah, so these are, I keep calling them my bunny socks, but I think the pattern is actually called the Little Rabbit pattern actually. And it's by Jules of So Sweet Violet, and it's got these cute little cotton tails on. There's supposed to be one on the cuff as well, which I forgot. Yeah, but still, these ones are cute. And so the original pattern is actually toe up, but I just changed it to cuff down because I prefer knitting my socks that way, and also I can do it without, you know, I just know how to do it, so I don't have to think about looking at the pattern and anything. So I kind of just went for that option out of laziness. Yeah, but as you can see this sort of little design she's got in here, this little stitch done in here. It's just so cute. I really love that. It doesn't matter which way up you do it, you see, it still works. So yeah. I think generally overall I'm happier with this colour scheme. So my next stripe colour after this is just another pale pink, and then I was going to put the cuff colour on the toe again, but the trouble is I don't want that. I might just do the toes in that. If I get to that stage and I don't need another stripe in this pale, I'm just going to put the toes in that pale colour. I think that is what I'm going to do. And then I started, like I say, I started the second sock so I could see about my stripes, so I've just kind of carried it on with it. Sort of keep it up at vaguely the same place. But yeah, this yarn I've used for the heel, I had a 20 gram of this, but it's actually really, it feels like a sport weight actually instead of a 4-ply. It's really thick. It's a Vicky Brown one. It's a lovely colour. I'm wondering, I'm not sure where I got it from. I wonder if I just picked up and I didn't notice it was sport weight, or maybe it came with something. And I can't remember. Oh, I wonder if it was in Jodie. Did you give me this? Was this in the Advent? Maybe that's where I got it from. God, that's shocking. I can't remember. I've got a picture somewhere though, so I will know somewhere. But yeah, so maybe that was from you, lovely Jodie. Yeah, so I thought it'd be a good place to hit. Anyway, since it was thicker, I thought it'd be good to use it in the heel because it just gives a bit of extra space across that gusset there, doesn't it? So that seemed good. That seemed to work out well. Yeah, I think I'm broadly happy with these. And hopefully I'll have them finished for next time. But it's a lovely pattern. Jules has just made some more as well. She's done is it yellow fading to pink or pink fading to yellow? So hers look really, really nice. It's like, oh man. It's kind of annoying because I think hers look even better, but also inspiring because I'm like, oh, I want to finish mine now because hers look really good. But yeah, I do think they look quite nice and sort of springy and Eastery and sort of these kind of ice cream colours. So that's quite nice. And then this is the yarn that I'm using for the bunny tails. It's the one that Jules recommends in the pattern, but it's this, what do you call it? Buccal, did they say? I'm not sure how you pronounce the word. But oh my god. I wouldn't choose to make anything very big out of yarn like this. That's all I'm saying. It's okay for just these little bobbles. But I couldn't imagine knitting much out of that. I don't find it very pleasant to use personally. Anyway, so that's that pattern. That's that project that I'm quite happy with. And I'm babbling, I really don't know what I'm saying now. Let's move on to something else. So the next project to talk about, so I'm just getting fluff and things off my desk, it's all fluffy. The next project to talk about, again, I have started before and shown you some, but it is now, well, it's not complete, but this first stage is complete. So this is the size I want. I need to do an edging and I'm thinking of having like tassels on here. So this is going to be Sorry, fluff up my nose. This is going to be a window dressing for a window in my kitchen. I love this. I love this design. This little motif. Oh, I should have brought the shawl up to show you. So this motif was on a shawl that I was gifted by my nan. It was made in a different way than standard crochet. I've talked about this before, and I just made it in normal crochet stitches so that I could make it, because I wasn't quite sure how the original was constructed. And I've put them together on points, sort of on the diagonal, to leave these nice pointed sections. I thought that looked pretty at the bottom. I just love how it looks when they're joined together. I love that. I want a blanket in that. Or it would make a gorgeous tablecloth, wouldn't it, as well? But I just made a... Sorry, I keep getting fluff up my nose. I just made a doily, lacy tablecloth, so I don't need another one, do I? But I just think that's so pretty when they're all joined together. I like that you've got the circle motif, and then the corners, these sort of stitches in the corner, sort of come together to make sort of another sort of motif. I just think it's super pretty. Yeah, so I need some sort of edging on this. And then I was thinking sort of tassels so it hung nicely, and then it's just going to go up in my kitchen window just as a sort of decorative, you know, with no practical purpose, but just to be decorative and look pretty is the idea. Yeah, so the yarn I'm using for this I haven't been able to talk about before, but I can talk about it now, and I love it. It's a new one from Starcraft. And they sent me some because I'm a Starcraft blog star. So let's show you this one actually, because this is what I'm using. So it's a new Naturals range is what they're calling it. So it's a bamboo and cotton yarn, as you can see there. And yeah, I think it's sort of, because obviously Starcraft do have acrylic yarns, I think they were looking for something that would be sort of a, what's the word, just a more natural alternative for people to use, and this is just fantastic. So let me tell you the stats. It's a DK weight yarn. You get 250 meters or 273 yards per 100 grams, so that's like your 100 gram ball, and it's 60% bamboo and 40% cotton. And they're saying recommended knitting needle size is 4mm, recommended crochet hook size is 3.5mm, which I would agree with. I've been using it 3.5 of mine, and I think that seems to work up nicely on a 3.5. Yeah, just I like that it's sort of a more I suppose natural is the word. I don't know whether to say sustainable or ecological or any of those words, because I think with any yarn there is some kind of impact, potentially negative side of it. And with this one you've got cotton, which is a very thirsty crop, and I'm not even sure about bamboo. I do know that it can grow very aggressively and, you know, take things over. Possibly it's quite thirsty as well. I haven't looked into it. So there is always something, but on the other hand, at least it's derived from a plant and it's not like plastic or something. I don't know, but I do think it's nice to have different options, and I like this option. So, but the feel of it, that's the first thing I like about it. The second thing is the feel of it. It feels amazing. It feels soft. It feels softer than just cotton. It's got sort of a bit of a nice, it's looking very sheeny here because the sun is just bouncing off of my big window. It's got a little bit of a sheen to the finish. So it's as soft as if it's, you know, when you have like not untreated cotton, what's the word? You know, not mercerized, not shiny cotton, but it's all sort of very natural and quite organic-y cotton. It's got a sort of nice softness and drape to it. It's got that feel to it, but it's also got a little bit of a natural sheen to it from the bamboo. So the drape on it is beautiful. It would make beautiful garments, make beautiful shawls. It'd make a beautiful blanket. It's just got a really lovely hang. I'm trying to move it around to see if you can kind of get the feel of how easy it moves and how, you know, how it just wants to drape down. It's just lovely. And then the other thing that I really, really love about it is the colours. So they've brought out the range with 43 colours to start with, and they're also really good colours, really lovely. Let me just show you some. So here's some of the ones I've got. I've got some others as well, but just really beautiful subtle shades. That's really soft, subtle shell pink, I think. What's the colour of this one? It's called Blossom, but it's a pink with a real warmth to it. And they've got this kind of dusky one. What's this? This is Pumice. I love this colour. It's almost got a sort of beigey, purpley hint to it as well. They've got this, speaks to me. You can see I've been using this one. What's this one called? Sea Foam. Oh my god, I love this. This is just my colour. Love that one. But yeah, this is nice too. Really love that one, the sort of grey. Like those two together. Can you see some of the others that are in there as well? There's a beautiful sort of stone-like colour. What's this one called? It's Natural. Beautiful stone-like colour. They sort of complement each other ever so well. You've got sort of some brighter tones in there. You've got beautiful earthy tones. Gorgeous subtle pastel tones. I'm going to see if I can... Oh, that looks pretty. Just put a few together here. That would make a pretty palette. Let's see if I can pick them up to show you. Look at all those together. Oh, they look lovely. You can make so many lovely palettes with this. I'm going to try. I've got some cards with all the colours on because it's such a gorgeous range. I'm going to try and fan them out so you can see them. But I think I could see me using this a lot. I want to make a blanket out of this. I want to make a shawl out of this. I just want to use it for all the things at the moment. It's amazing. Right, let's see if I can pick this up now. I've done that. Ta-da! There we go. Look at these down here. Beautiful, beautiful shades. Oh, and this three. Look at these three together. So nice. So nice. So I can see they've got some sort of brighter, more saturated colours as well, some deeper ones to complement, because I really think that a lot of ranges do that. They'll come out with some nice shades, but they're all bright, or they're all pastel, or they're all sort of dark. Whereas to make a really gorgeous palette that I like anyway, that I think is good, is you want some and some. You want to perhaps put a rich one in with some of the more subtle ones in to give it some depth, and sometimes you want to go brighter, but sometimes you want to be more subtle and pastel. And I think you've got lots of lovely options here. Look at that gorgeous peach down the bottom. This is a nice colour as well. I've got this. What's this one called? No, it's just called Lilac, but it's a really nice sort of pinky lilac. You know, it's not that sort of bluey lavendery colour. It's like a really pinky purple. It's really pretty. Yes. Anyway, so watch this space, because I think there will be more projects coming with this. I've used it for a few things actually. I used it for something else I didn't bring up. My pine cone dishcloths. I've made some of those out of it. The mitts that I made. I'll try and pop a picture in just so you know what I'm talking about. The mitts I made in this to sort of see how it would fare for the, you know, that kind of washing and being pummeled a bit purpose. And I also made some dishcloths out of it. That was using Jules's pattern, the Wondrous Dishcloth. And I've been using those just on rotation for my washing, like in the kitchen for my washing cloth, and they've been brilliant. I literally pummel them to death in the week, sling it in the washing machine with the wash when I do one, sling them in the tumble dryer, and then just pop them back on the pile to rotate round again, and they're doing beautifully. They're still lovely and soft, they're still got their colour, they're just, yeah. It's really good. It's really good stuff so far. I mean, I haven't made and worn and washed in that way, so that's only sort of one way of using it. But so far, it's all been really positive. So, well done, Starcraft, I say. I think it's an absolutely cracking. It's an absolutely cracking yarn. So yes, hoping to do more with that in future. Definitely want to do a blanket for my living room in that, because we've decorated that out in all new colours. And like some of these shades, for example, are just going to work really well in there. I think maybe I'll pop one of these in as well. I don't know. Possibilities though. Very excited about that. Definitely an opportunity for some lovely colour play. A lot of, you know, lovely palettes you could make out of this. Try to pile them all up. They're not all going to fit in that, so I'm just going to give up on that and put it to the side. Yeah, so this is another one that's almost finished, going back to why I started talking about those in the first place. So hopefully I'll have that for you next time, which means I'll need a new project soon. I have got ideas. I've got yarn. I'm thinking garments, because I don't know if you were here last time when I talked about the pink jumper I made. Just really enjoyed that, so I want to do another garment. So I have got yarn that I can do garments, so that might be next. Yeah, so that's everything I've got on the go at the moment. Patterns in progress. Pips is my next section, which goes back to that, which you kind of know about, that it's coming, hopefully next week, fingers crossed. Actually, when I bring the pattern out, I'll try and remember to pop the link below in the YouTube thing and put it in show notes, so that you can, like, if you're watching this a bit later, hopefully I'll have popped the link down there so you can find it. Anyway, so that's the only pattern in progress at the moment, and the last thing is incoming goodies, of which I do have one. This is a lovely gift. I haven't actually been buying anything. I've sort of kind of imposed a yarn ban on myself. I haven't decided to, but I sort of haven't bought anything for a while. No, that's a lie. I bought something recently for a garment, but I haven't just been buying without something very specific in mind for quite a while, and I quite like that, so I want to see if I can keep it up a bit longer, because I want to try and use some of my stash. But I also noticed that I don't really plan projects out of my stash. I really want to, but then I get distracted even by like a garment, and I don't have garment quantities very much. I'm trying to sort of get a little tiny bit of garment quantity there, but I've got lots of one skeins, or maybe two that coordinate. Yes, must make some projects with all of the stash that I have. Anyway, this is all to say that I haven't been having many incoming goodies, but I have got a lovely gift this week. So, Catherine from Crafternoon Treats sent me a parcel, and she said, "Oh, I've got a parcel on the way to you." And I thought, well, I can't think why on earth she's sending me anything. That's very kind of her. What on earth could it be? Anyway, she'd sent me back my socks. So I made these. These are my Pearly Dot socks, another pattern I've got released actually. That she sent me this yarn to make them and said, would I make these socks and give the yarn a try? Which I did, and it's gorgeous, by the way. And then she said, could I borrow the socks? I think she wanted to take a photo or whatever. Could I send them to her so she could borrow the socks? Oh yeah, I said, that's fine. So I sent them up. And to be honest, I'd forgotten about it. So these socks sort of arrived in the post, and I thought, oh those? I forgot I had these. That's fab. I can start wearing them again because I'd been wearing them for her as well, so she could see how the yarn held up under use. But as you can see, it's still in lovely state. Yeah, so these came back, but the parcel was huge, so it wasn't just these. She'd also sent me this gorgeous project bag. So this is by Handmade by Helen, and Catherine is going to be stocking these in her shop now. So she's Crafternoon Treats on Etsy. But isn't that pretty? Look at that fabric. So summery and beautiful. Love it. Nice fabric inside as well, and it's got a little useful ring. So yes, I think she was stocking these a little while ago, as I understand, but she's got some more in now. So she sent me one of those. So that was ever so kind. But that wasn't all. I just got to do a bit of paper rustling. Hang on. She also sent me some of her stitch markers. So these are BOR, which is beginning of the round. So beginning of the round markers. And she's actually put those, so you can use them. They've got a ring on them to use as a knitting marker, but she's actually put them on a little pin that you could use as a stitch marker as well. So you could leave them on that, couldn't you, and just pin it onto your crochet if you wanted to. I'm sure she does ones with lobster clips on that you could get if you just want it for crochet though. I bet she does. So that was really lovely. And then she sent me 2 gorgeous yarns as well. I mean, I don't know quite what I've done to deserve such loveliness. I really don't. How kind is that? So this one is a blue-faced Leicester, 75% British blue-faced Leicester, blah, 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 blah. 75% British blue-faced Leicester wool with 25% mulberry silk. So this is spun in the UK. It is British wool. It's superwash treated in the UK, in Yorkshire. And I know this is the thing that's so good about Catherine's yarn, her projects in general. She's very good at like researching the background, knowing where her products come from. You know, she's got quite a good close relationship, I understand, with the people that spin the yarn, so she can sort of ask them where they're sourcing materials and about their process and stuff. So she's very knowledgeable about her products and what goes into making her products. So I know that she was talking about the superwash treatment process and how there can be quite a lot of chemicals used, but that this particular method that they use, because it's here in the UK, it's all under EU regulations and so on. It's the, you know, it's a safer way of doing it, and certainly a lot safer for the, you know, the people that are actually carrying out the work as well. So yeah, I always think it's really reassuring to know that when you're getting Catherine's products. So this is fingering weight yarn, so it's 100 grams, 400 meters, and she's called that Plumage. Isn't that beautiful? That is lovely. And also, so that's 75% blue-faced Leicester, and I'm, if you've been here before, if you're a regular, you know we have to do the sensitivity, the princess test, because I'm a princess and I can't have anything scratching next to my skin because I am very sensitive and delicate. But, so normally wool is out, is my point. I can't normally do this with wool, it would make me go, ugh. But actually this is really soft. I don't know if it's just because it's got the silk, or maybe the superwash treatment makes the fibres calm a little bit. But yeah, that's actually, I could wear that. That's alright. So that's a really soft, lovely wool. I mean, it still looks and feels, don't know if you can see, yeah, you can see it's got like a, there's a kind of fluffiness to it. It's got quite a, still feels woolly. But yeah, that's really soft. That's quite amazing actually. And then this one, if I thought this was soft, this one is next level. I don't know if you've sort of buy these sort of yarns very much, but there seems to have been this kind of next level yarn that seems to be coming out, which is, it's just like, and you know how to describe it. It's so soft. It's like butter melting in your mouth softness. It's just the drape. I mean, look at the drape of that. Just to compare, see that one holds quite straight. It's going to hold its sort of form, but this one is just like because it just wants to drape and cascade beautifully. It's so soft. Anyway, this is 50% fine merino, 30% baby alpaca, 20% mulberry silk, and this one's not superwash treated, but it is spun in the UK. And again, you've got 100 grams of 400 meters. And she's put on here that it's fully traceable and ethically produced. So I know that I think it's all UK produced as well, because I think the merino is from sheep in the Falklands. So it's a British yarn. So yeah, and the colourway for this one is Atlantis is Sleeping. I think this is a newer base for Catherine as well, and it's exquisite. It is so, like I say, it's soft as butter. It's like a little cloud nestled on my neck. But yeah, that is really beautiful. And the colour. Catherine knows my kind of colour scheme quite well. What I like, what kind of floats my boat. She's got a pretty good handle on what I like. And this is what I like. That is just colour perfection as far as I'm concerned. It's just beautiful. And it's that kind of solid that I really love as well, in that it's all one colour, but it's just got those semi-solid, I guess you would call it, wouldn't you? Slightly lighter patches, slightly deeper patches. So there's just that sort of real interest, and just so much prettier than just a absolutely saturated flat colour. It's just so much more interesting and beautiful than that. Yeah, I'm getting a bit, what's the word? Carried away with it all. But yes, Catherine has also, at time of recording, because I did check, she does have some of this in her shop, and she's also got another colourway that I'm going to put a picture in, because I saw it on Instagram and I was like, oh my word, I really want that. That kind of tempted my self-imposed yarn ban. Yeah, it's like, it's a really nice spring Easter colour, as you can see, because I'm going to put it on here. Yeah, like I say, at time of recording, she had both of those in her shop still. So I may break down and order one of those, I don't know. But wouldn't these, I mean, gorgeous separately, or they could be a project together, couldn't they? Really nice. Yes, anyway, so thank you very, very much, Catherine. That was so kind of you. And I might even keep some of these and perhaps do a giveaway, I think, because I've got a couple of other bits, I think, and just such sort of generosity as well, rather than hoard it all to myself. It would be quite nice to sort of spread the love a little bit. So yeah, I might keep a couple of these bits back for a giveaway as well, to be arranged at some point in the future, because I haven't thought about it. I don't know quite what I'm going to do, but yeah. I think that may be it for me. I haven't really got any vloggy bits to put on the end again, because, well, I have got some bits actually. I might put them on the end. If I've got enough that makes some coherent sense, I'll pop them on the end. We'll see. But yeah, it just feels like sort of a lot of mundanity has been going on lately, and not a massive amount of, oh yeah, let's video that, because that would be cute / interesting / good to remember for future, etc. So yeah, if I've got a couple of bits to cobble together, I'll shove them on. But anyway, this is literally just babbling for no reason now, so I'll let you go and get on with your lives. Thank you so much for staying with me this long. If you made it this far, thank you for watching at all. Thank you for even trying it out, or subscribing if you do, and all that nonsense. It's always appreciated. And commenting as well. I've been a bit lax, well, not lax, I just haven't been able to keep up with sort of commenting on blog and Instagram and YouTube and all the various places where things pop up now. I can't, sometimes I remember that I got some and I can't find them, so I don't know. But just so you know, it's not that it's ignored, or it's not that it isn't appreciated. I do very much appreciate it, and I do try to get back as many as I can. But anyway, thank you for being here is the point. This time I really will go. Thanks for watching. See you next time.